Well, you're on.
You just got me saying it.
Yeah.
You did it
All
on
right.
purpose.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can't say there's nothing more you can say about Florence Pugh
No,
and Haley Steinfeld.
no,
And
they're just amazing actresses.
amazing actresses, obviously easy on the eyes. But what I was saying to you before we went on, it's not just because they're gorgeous. It's more because they're
No,
talented.
no, they
And
really are. Especially just Florence Pugh. Just everything I've seen her in, just as of late.
yeah,
She's just amazing. And Haley Stein, did you even know she could sing? She's
yeah,
amazing.
no. I've actually heard some of her songs. I
Mhm.
have. Now I know she can sing, and I think the first introduction for me with Florence Pugh was Fighting with Family, the
Oh,
Page,
love that movie.
which was a great movie. Then of course, Midsummer,
Yeah,
which
Midsummer.
was just insane. And
Mhm.
it's a hard watch. It really is. I watched it a couple of times. It's hard. It's a hard watch the second or third time. Um, but it's good. It's good. Recommend it. Anyway,
Good
we're
stuff.
here.
We're
It's
here.
season finale talk. We will have our third guest in it in a minute. Jawan's running a little late. So we're going to start it off a little bit. We're going to go around the room, by around the room, obviously to you. And we're going to talk about,
Why don't we ever start with you,
all
Joe?
right, you know what? It's my show. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. So what I did this week for the finale and what I should do with all my reviews is I have a list of likes and a list of dislikes. And as I was saying to Kitty before we came on, I for a finale, it was a little underwhelming for me. As a whole, the Hawkeye series is probably my favorite that the MCU has put out on Disney Plus. My favorite series overall. I think all 5 episodes were solid. This episode had some promise, and obviously we finally got Kingpin on screen, which was a big deal. We couldn't wait for it. We finally did. We were getting like dribs and drabs. Oh, here's a big guy, squeezing Maya's cheeks as a young kid. We have all the nods, fat guy auto repair and stuff like that. And then of course, in the last week's episode, we got the picture of him and Eleanor talking. So now we get him in action, and we got more action than I expected. I didn't know he was going to be on, full on in scenes, ripping car doors off. So I appreciated that. That's one of my likes. The fact that we finally got Kingpin and we got to see a showcase of his strength. He took an arrow to the chest like it was nothing. He got hit by a car, which is in my dislikes, like it was nothing. So I like that. Got it. And then, of course, the Yelena and Kate scenes. The little, the elevator scene where she like presses all the buttons, and when she's going to grab, Yelena slaps her hand. And then, of course, the fight in the office, which was a great choreographed fight. But then when she's like talking her up, like, no, 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 it was a good. I like when you did the flip; it was good. And she's like, don't make me like you. I did like that. I love that they didn't do a flip with the character of Jack. They stuck with him just being like an oblivious rich guy that he was clueless, and he helps them fight the tracksuit mafia with the sword at the end. So I did like that. Also, too, I don't know if you picked this up, and I was telling this to Jawan and the rest of his panelists on his show yesterday. But I watched this at like 5:30 in the morning, and when we got this scene, I was like, "Oh shit, let me look this up because I think I know what they're doing with this one scene." But do you know what the owl meant in the Rockefeller tree? It
No.
doesn't have a Marvel. It's not a Marvel reference. Because I was a lot of people were commenting and other YouTubers like, I don't understand why there was an owl. It should have been a hawk. That owl was a nod to the baby owl that they found in the actual Rockefeller tree last year. Do you
Oh,
remember that story when they found it? I think they named the owl Rocky. And they found when they cut down the tree and they transported from wherever they got it to the city, they found a baby owl in there, and obviously they took it to the whatever center that I had to go to, and then they finally released it out into the wild. But that was the nod. It was just it was a cool reference to the baby owl that they actually found. But so I like that. I love the scenes with Yelena and Clint. Even when she's after she's done fighting Kate and she repels down, she has a clear shot of Clint. You can tell that yes, she has a mission, but at the same time, she still needs closure about her sister.
yes.
So she was definitely not only pulling her punches at one point, but she could have shot him if she wanted to. So we got those, that interaction, and of course, as I said, off screen, the whistle is what basically got her, because that's something that was only really between her and Natasha.
Mhm.
So and nothing else was working. Although I do feel like it was a rush solution, I understand because she's as stubborn as Natasha is. So there was nothing he could say, and how do you explain that? They're the only two people that were on Vormir. How do you know? How can you, say, oh, well, she killed herself? How convenient. Um, so we got that. I love, but at the same time, the watch thing makes no sense because what the hell what was the purpose of the watch if there's nothing inside the watch, right? And all it has is a description of the number 19, which is basically saying that she's Mockingbird, um, and she was an agent for Shield.
Shield agent. Yeah.
What was the point of that watch other than to say, oh, it was hers and she was Mockingbird? That was it. So I do like the fact that we do get confirmation that she's Mockingbird, and hopefully we get some more of Laura's character in action. But I just felt like the whole watch story fell flat when it came to like, oh, thank you for returning my watch. And Maya was sporting a new look in this scene when she confronts Kingpin. I don't know if anybody else noticed, but she had her hair down. I
Mhm.
noticed. I liked. Like, oh, all right, Maya, I see you. I see you. All right, now let's go to the dislikes. The car slamming into Kingpin to me made no sense. Only because if you keep an eye, and I did, trust me, because I like to nitpick a little bit. But if you do keep an eye on where the car is parked after he rips the door open,
I knew Joe was gonna pick on
the
stupid.
time, look, first of all, the time it would have taken her to not only jump from the back seat to the driver's seat, also knocking the driver out of the way, but also the placement of where the car is parked. Even if she backed all the way down the road and still drove at full speed into him, it was still just the way it was the way it came at her. It was almost like it came at her from the front and not from the back. So I had a little problem with that. Jack walking around with a sword is normal. Oh yeah, I come to a party. I just got arrested for maybe possibly being in suspicion of killing my uncle with a sword. Let me just walk around with a sword. Although I like the payoff at the end, I still do. I agree, I like the payoff, but it was just a little weird that he
But
just
they even made a joking line about it.
yeah,
Like, why is he that takes balls for him to come to the
yeah,
party with a sword.
and just show up with a sword, even if he's not. But the thing is, even if he wasn't arrested and suspected of murder with the sword, it's just not a common thing to just walk around with a sword. Like that's not even practical. You're going to be bumping into everything. You might even be stabbing somebody in the ass a little bit or knocking over drinks. It's just not practical.
You've obviously never been a musketeer then.
No, I've never been. Okay. I didn't like the choice to kill off. Well, I say kill off in quotations. It's obviously not dead, but I didn't like the choice that they did that off screen. I know the whole rule of look, no body, no death. So I get it, and if you read the comics, and that's the other thing too, it's like, all right, dude, I don't want to have to fucking read the comics or know comic storylines to understand what I just seen. But if you read the comments, he does get shot and he does go blind. I don't know if they're going to choose to have it where both he's blind totally, or she only shot one eye out, because right before the scene, he basically says family sometimes doesn't see it eye to eye or something like that. So maybe that was like foreshadowing of his eye coming out. But later on in the comic line, he gets like reconstructive surgery to fix it. But he is. I'm assuming if we do see him, he's going to be without at least one or maybe both eyes. But like I said, the end credit scene, which is one of my next gripes, it's not so much that I minded the fact that we got a full 4 minute or whatever it was production of the Rogers the musical. Even Jawan said in his spoiler review yesterday, I would have enjoyed that while the credits roll, or have that as the end credits, just to wind off the whole series. But then before the credits actually start to roll, give me a scene where you see Kingpin still alive or something. So I would have liked that, because they did that with Loki after that episode where Loki gets stabbed by Sylvie, and everybody's like, "What the fuck?" They killed Loki off, and then in the very end credit scene, you see that he's still alive. And then my last thing, which is actually a big deal because they teased it in several episodes. We knew that the dog was going to get named, and we all know from the comics his name is Lucky, right? But they named him off camera. And Grills tells them in last episode, I think I got a name for your dog, but he never says it out loud. So if Grills is the one that actually named the dog, I would have liked to have seen that or heard that. And they don't even say it on camera. They say it off camera, like if it was done post production, like they edited it with ADR. Like she doesn't even say it, like you just hear it. Oh, come on, Lucky, or something like that. It's just like, really? And but the other thing is too, why did you name him Lucky? What was the significance of naming him Lucky? It would have made sense had she named him Lucky right after she saved him, because that made him lucky. But I don't know. That's it. Now, as far as like I said, as far as the episode I liked, I did, and I there's not one episode of this six episode series that I can say felt like filler or I didn't like it. Every episode entertained me in its own way.
But Pizza Dog was a nickname that was.
Yeah, no, Pizza Dog. Yeah, Lucky the pizza loving dog or something like that.
Yeah.
That was his full name, but his name is actually Lucky. But I'm just saying, like, I would have liked to know why or who named him, because we don't even know who came up with that name. You know, because everybody was speculating that Clint was going to give him the name, maybe Kate, and then when Grills had that line last week, I'm like, oh, Grills is going to give him the name, and I was waiting for it. But anyway, yeah. So like I was saying, I don't hate any episode. I don't hate this episode. I enjoyed this episode a lot. I enjoy the characters a lot. I love Maya. I love Yelena. I love Kate. Kingpin was great in this, although his freakish strength. He's a strong dude. Don't get me wrong. He's nearly invincible, but he's not. Like toe to toe with Spider-Man, he'd get his ass kicked, but he is all muscle. Like a lot of people, and I was telling that to Juwan and everybody on the show yesterday. Everybody pretty much knew that, but he's not he's not fat. The thing is, that's all muscle underneath Kingpin's suit, and I don't know if many people know that. Like he is a strong dude. It's just that I didn't know he was get hit by a car at full force, and I can get up strong. You know, so there were a couple things that I didn't get, but at the same time, I enjoyed. And like I said, I enjoyed seeing Kingpin, albeit wearing a Hawaiian shirt, but we got that. He felt the need to do a what do you call it, a wardrobe change from the first scene with the black shirt. Now he's got the Hawaiian shirt. But I am interested in knowing what we're going to get now from the Echo series. You know, we obviously know that we're getting a Daredevil series with Charlie Cox returning. Possibly maybe even getting some Daredevil cameos in Echo series. So there's a lot of things to not only enjoy here, but also to anticipate moving forward. But I would say this was probably my fourth, maybe third or fourth favorite episode. I still think Echoes. I think number 3 is still my favorite. I think I got to watch it over again. But anyway, I spoke enough. How'd you feel?
Gee, Joe, I don't know. I actually love the final episode.
Okay.
Especially coming off of the penultimate episode.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great. I thought it was we finally get to see how much Clint cares for Kate, and I love that. I love that it had like that heartwarming, like he finally uses the partner word.
Thank you for bringing that up. I forgot about that part. And also to feed off of that line as well. Not only that, which meant a lot to her.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I said I like the Kate and Clint scenes, but also, and I said this yesterday, I forgot to add it to my notes, with him basically saying, listen, no, about her telling him not only what he means to her, but when she brought back the beginning of the episode, the beginning of the series, when she saw him, fighting aliens, and he has no superpowers.
Yeah, he has no superpowers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really, I really enjoyed that tie-in. I thought that was great. Anything with Kate and Yelena, like especially, it's just amazing. Their chemistry together and their conversations together and their scenes together are just solid.
They are
amazing.
Can you imagine a Black Widow 2 with them two in it?
That's just
oh
amazing.
My
like
God.
They should just do a spin-off with just those two. I think it would be amazing. Just the comedic timing on the both of them and how they feed off of each other is amazing. So I love that. I love that, this was one of those shows where we had kind of what is going on with Kate's mom.
Yeah.
Like, is she some type of like Marvel character? Is she going to be this? Is she going to be that one? In essence, she wasn't anything. She was just a mom looking out for her daughter, trying to pay back a father's debt.
See, and that's another thing. Again, I don't know why that's not on my list, but even Jawan said it, and we both agreed yesterday on his show. That's the other thing that fell flat because you were teasing her to be this, you're teasing her to be that, and then at the end, the payout is, oh well, I just owed debts, and I didn't want to get out of the life, but I did it to pay off a debt when I was blindsided by Derek's death, which we still don't know how really happened.
Hmm.
And I thought we were going to get a bigger reveal. I'm not saying that and Jawan said this yesterday too. I want to give him credit. I'm not saying that I needed to have her wear and be Madame Mask,
Yeah.
but it was an underwhelming reveal. Why and the motive behind it. I understand it made her more grounded, it made her just being a mom or whatever, but at the same time, she's still a criminal. She killed somebody,
Yeah. Well, not well, and that tied into.
Hold on. Brandon says, I love the diversity of the arrows in the show. I feel like they are more invested in Hawkeye now than they have ever been. Black Widow 2 has to happen with the trio. I agree.
Yeah.
I had just said that before you comment, Brandon. I was saying, I don't even need the trio. Just give me Elena and Kate in Black Widow 2, and I will watch it.
Yeah,
But having the trio would definitely make it even more enjoyable. I agree.
My favorite scenes in this show were when they were on the ice and the reveal of his uniform and then she slides down on the ice and she's
awesome.
doing that just gave me goosebumps. I just thought that whole scene when she's sliding down the ice and she's shooting her arrows and they're just fighting together, I just thought that was amazing. That was probably one of my favorite scenes. The other scene is when Maya comes and she's got her hair down.
She's ready. When girls have their hair down,
yeah,
you know it. Oh no, actually, no, I'm lying. Sorry.
When they take their earrings off.
It's when they put their hair up. You know you're about to get it.
So it's like I love that because then and then she's giving him a shot because you could tell she feels more for him than just a friendship.
Yeah,
and she's just like, you could leave with me. So and I thought that was a great scene. So
you're talking about her and Kazi.
Yeah, her and Kazi. Yeah. So I like that.
Which, how did you feel about him catching that arrow?
I thought it was like it meant that he had a little bit more going on.
Something more about him. Yeah, that's why I hope he's not really killed off. A lot of people are speculating that he might still be alive.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the dude caught an arrow.
Yeah.
Yep. That's not, even though the other guy caught an arrow in the chest, not Kingpin, but one of the tracksuits guys, it was the USB arrow, and just bounced off him like it was nothing. Everybody's like, well, is something going on with him? But yeah, Kazi catching an arrow, there's no way you're going to kill that guy off now.
Yeah. So that was good. Of course, the whole, Clint and Yelena thing, they both had, I think Clint was, during the whole show, he's trying to cope with Natasha's death and both of them being able to find closure within each other.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. So to me, I think that this was a great finale episode. It had a lot of heart. It had a lot of action. We finally see Vincent D'Onofrio.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that reveal. I enjoyed everything about it. I didn't dislike it in any way. I thought it was a great ending. I thought this is probably one of my favorite Marvel series, and I loved the beginning. I loved the end. I loved everything about it. So I can't.
Brandon. Damn it. Like Patrick said last night, this is just going to be in my head now. I mean, look, again, it's catchy. It's a catchy tune. It's a catchy play. I'm not saying I would see it on Broadway, but it's definitely catchy, and I appreciate it for what it is. And it's not that I'm saying I didn't need it at all. I just wanted I want an end credit scene,
I think we're just all spoiled to that though now. Like we think that everything deserves an end credit scene. Maybe it just didn't. It just gave us everything that, it just had all the parts and element. We know what we're getting from this, right? We know we're going to get Daredevil. We know we're going to get an Echo show. Why do we need an end credit scene?
Because you just got a main character shot off screen. People want to know what the hell happened.
Why? What's going on in the comics. You can use your imagination.
See, I don't. That's the thing. I don't know what's going on in the comics. I had to look it up. I had to look it up. What does it mean? I think I looked up Kingpin shot in face and stuff like that. Kingpin's missing eye. See, he knows. He knows what I'm talking about. He knows what I'm talking about. Just in time, dude. Well, no. Really quick though. Well, what else? I didn't want to skip anything else over. What else did you like about the series?
I loved everything about it. I don't have the qualms that you had. I'm sorry.
Just, but minor. And the other thing is too, even with the qualms I've had, and it's not like it didn't hit expectations or, oh, I was expecting Reed Richards to show up or I was expecting this. Like it was nothing like that where I had these
I don't know
wild.
about you, but I saw Mephisto. Did you not see Mephisto?
It's not that I had like these wild fantasies or imaginations or theories that didn't come to life. It's just that when you talk finale, right? It's like a growing theme with these Marvel shows. Like they don't they don't land them properly. And I don't know if it's because six episodes isn't enough. There were parts of this episode that didn't feel like it was a cohesive. Like you get the writing of the first 5 episodes, and then you have this episode, and it's like either it was edited wrong, or they did a lot of reshoots, or something was off. There was like a writer that just showed up like, "Oh, sorry guys, sorry I was sick the first 5 episodes, but I'm back. Let me write this one." And then you know what I mean? So it just felt there was like a couple things that were a little off. But at the same time, the series was so good that it's still my favorite Marvel series, right? And there was not one episode I can say I fucking hated or I think it was filler because it didn't. It still gave me feelings, you know. I still love the interactions because I still love the characters, and that's what they did right. Is that they wrote and they gave us compelling characters, with the exception of Eleanor and Jack, but they gave us compelling characters, and that's what made the series so good.
Oh, by the way, yeah, which I didn't mention, those LARPers are amazing
Oh
in
yeah,
this too.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that was another part that I like super enjoyed. Like they brought back the LARPers and they were in essence like acting like little superheroes themselves. I thought that was great.
And it was consistent. It didn't feel out of place because that's what they were from when in their first introduction. That's how
Yep.
Grills was, and then we seen them. So it didn't feel out of place that they suited up and tried to help.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I thought it was a really good nod because you didn't want to use them the way they're using the comics. So I thought it was a really good way to utilize them. Brandon has one other comment, and then I'll go to you, Juwan. I'm still interested to see if they build on Kingpin and Val because the show gave us the impression they were working together. Val, not that they were working together. It was more. I don't think they were working together. I think Val was like a middle, like I guess like a middleman. Would you say that, Juwan?
No, that was someone that Eleanor has contacts with.
Okay,
I mean, sure, could they? Sure.
they could.
This Kingpin looks like he's working more so from the bottom up rather than from the elite status we know he was at in the Netflix series. I mean, even look at where he was working outside. Kingpin and Netflix would have never been caught dead in a place like that. It would have been high rise, everything, all beautiful places.
Unless
It looked very much like, I don't know, like an abandoned TJ Maxx store or something.
I was thinking about this after you said this yesterday, though. Unless they are going the route that he was once, the way he was, without going into Netflix, because we talked about it. There's no way they're going to be able to use the Netflix stories. But what if he's just trying to keep a low profile and he doesn't want to be in the spotlight? He doesn't want to live extravagant because he doesn't want any focus on him. And that's what Kazi was telling Maya. Listen, he doesn't want this spotlight on him. Like you doing this is going to put him in the focus.
I don't know about that, only because I think it's best to use nothing from Netflix, because the last time we saw him, he was being arrested, which we can assume was probably a life sentence.
Yep.
So you finagling your way out again, no. Like that works for the comics where you put a villain in jail and then the next issue he's out. For the movies, it's like no.
Not necessarily that he was arrested or the events of Netflix happened. I'm just talking about we don't really know, I guess because we don't know actually, but we don't know his like the fact that it is either 2024 or 2025 and the fact that this character has existed that we didn't know about and we're just finding out now. It is plausible that he did have a reign and now he's working underground or like he's doing things out of the spotlight just so he doesn't attract or whatever. But we could very well get it the other way too. We could get it where he's at the bottom now and he's working his way up. I wouldn't mind it either way.
I prefer that. I prefer it not bottom, like bottom, but like somewhere in the middle, working his way all the way up. I prefer that. But to answer the question, I think Eleanor and Val had a relationship because Eleanor called Val were
Yeah.
made to assume.
Yeah.
But could there be a connection? Sure. I just don't want to muddy that because you're already thinking, well, does Val know Nick Fury like she does in the comics? Does she know does she know General Ross? Does she know Norman Osborn? Like Val's very confusing for me as far as where they're going with her. Is she a scroll? Could she
Yeah.
be our first scroll that we see? Who knows?
And I wouldn't have minded. I honestly wouldn't have mind maybe even a little cameo with Val at the end. You know, her talking to one of the characters, either Eleanor or well, no, Eleanor's in jail. Well, maybe even she could even. No, I guess not. You don't want to visit Eleanor in jail, but some kind of dialogue between Val and a character wouldn't have.
Well, I
Wouldn't
think
have,
Val's whole purpose is recruiting. So I think the
right?
next time we see her, it'll be recruiting. So I think
Yeah.
maybe She-Hulk.
Okay.
However that ends, maybe she goes and recruits Abomination.
Yeah.
Because that's all we've seen of her so far. We saw her for the first time recruiting John Walker.
Mm-hmm.
And the second time, we find out that she did recruit Yelena.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's all been about her and her operatives. So
Yeah.
now it's just about, well, what's the bigger picture here?
I agree with listening to Jim. You know, I never hated Hawkeye the character, and I obviously don't hate Jeremy Renner. But this did make me appreciate his character more because, well, I mean, this was not only his, it wasn't his show specifically; it was the Hawkeye moniker, but it did make me appreciate the character that he portrayed more. And I agree that I think the chemistry between the main characters made me like him more as well. You know, and it didn't hurt to have a character like Kate Bishop, played by Haley Steinfeld, and Yelena, and all these other characters. And I think they did make that's what made the series really good.
Did they greenlight that Yelena and Kate?
No,
No?
I was saying I wouldn't mind seeing them in Black Widow too if they were ever going to come out with a Black Widow too.
But this type of show, you're more engaged in Avengers and superheroes without superpowers. You know, it's like you realize those are like with the Black Widow
Yeah.
movie, you're like, oh wow, these types of characters have just as much power, and they do just as much stuff as an Iron Man or a Thor, or and you're invested in characters like them, like Yelena and Hawkeye and Natasha. So I appreciate these types of movies.
Well, that's
Well,
what actually that's what made me, and I think I could speak for Juwan a little bit too. That's what made me actually dislike the Black Widow movie, is because you do have a character like Natasha who's, I mean, obviously trained to kill, but also trained in like fighting and all those techniques that she knows because she is a trained killer. But at the end of the day, she's not an Iron Man. So her falling the way she did and surviving all the things that she did in that film
But at
made no
least
sense.
it's likability because she's fearless.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, these
especially
are likable
like
characters.
Yelena and those, it's just like she's fearless, and those types of characters are fierce. They go in and they put their lives on the line because they're fearless. So
Yeah. No, it definitely makes you appreciate, like, and that's why that line with Kate and Hawkeye or Jeremy Renner resonated with me, because she basically told him, like, listen, I know you don't think you're a role model, but this is what you mean to me. This is what you meant to me since I was a kid. You know, you basically saved my life. And then I see this guy with a stick and a string fighting aliens. You have no superpower, yet you still lay your life on the line. You are a role model. So you're right. The fact that they don't have superpowers and they are fearless is great. But at the end of the day, too, have some type of what's the word? Suspension of disbelief, where it's like, all right, well, yeah, okay, she can probably survive that. But there were a couple of things with the Black Widow character in her own movie that I was just like, all right, this. Like, if I didn't know you die in Endgame, I'm like, why aren't you dying in this? You know, but anyway, I don't want to talk about Black Widow. But anyway, seeing Yelena and Kate in a movie or in a show or any type of adaptation, I would clearly see, and I would love
just them though.
Just them.
No other characters. Just
that's
them.
just them. Just them eating
sitting
macaroni
at
and
a table
cheese.
eating macaroni and cheese.
That's
all
it.
I
I mean,
need.
preferably the story would just be those two becoming friends, living out their Sex in the City kind of dream that Yelena was saying she wanted to come to New York and experience. That's all I want.
Martinis.
That's all I want. Them just getting super drunk, stopping crime. That's all I want. That's all I want.
The new and improved statue. Oh wait. Listener Jim said, I thought they left so much on the table without an end credit scene. I mean, they did, because you don't know what's coming anyway. But I would have liked a little bit, a little teaser, a little tidbit.
I'm fine with nothing at the end. Just don't give
That's
me.
what I said. So am I. It leaves you.
Yeah, but he didn't want the play.
No, I didn't want the musical. Don't give me anything. If you're not gonna give me anything, don't give me that. Don't give me that. Just
even if we would have seen Kazi, get up, I would have been like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. Having Kazi still alive, like, and I was just Joanne, before you came on, I had obviously talked about the fact that the dude caught an arrow, so there's obviously something with that character that more than what we've gotten from him. So I wouldn't mind seeing him again. So even something as simple as that. But the main thing was that you give us Kingpin and then you get him shot off screen, and I don't know. I was just confused to what was going on. I was like, why is Kingpin getting shot? What's going on? But I didn't, and that's because I didn't know the comic line. And that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying about Star Wars and what they did in the movies, where it's like, all right, well, we have an explanation. Well, you can wait until a certain series comes out and maybe you'll see him again. But there is an explanation. It's in the comics. Well, I didn't read the comics. How am I supposed to know? So that's what I'm talking about.
But that's why I say it's important. I've been told since I started the MCR how no one cares about the books. And I keep saying, well, you're going to watch these shows, you're going to see things, and you're going to go, I don't know what I'm seeing. And my response is always going to be, well, there are books that tell you exactly what's going to happen. It's why when everyone kept saying, where are you getting this whole Mephisto thing from? And I'm like, do you think I pulled that from thin air? That's from a book. It's from the comic series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, it's with Marvel and DC, I don't think you need to know the books as much. You can kind of piece together. Star Wars, you 100% need to know the books, or you know nothing. Literally nothing.
But that to me, and not to stay too much on the Star Wars, to me, that's lazy writing. If I'm going to sit through a 2.5 hour movie that I paid $30 to see, and I'm not going to understand what it is, or the answers are going to be in the book adaptation of the movie that I just watched, that's just lazy writing. You know what I mean?
No argument for me, but as someone who read first and then saw the movies, I'm fine.
No, but you see, also you're talking about two different things, though. You're talking about what could be canon in stories, right? Which I can understand if you want to have that connectivity. But I'm talking about, like, there were certain things, especially in The Rise of Skywalker, that you didn't know unless you read the book that came out after the movie. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, what?
I mean, even before Force Awakens, there was a whole Kylo Ren book explaining what the Knights of Ren were, and
which is fine because you had that 30-year gap. I can understand that because it fills in Star Wars fans from Return of the Jedi until now. So it's like, all right, well, I want to know what's going on, like what's up. So I read about the Knights of Ren because I want to know what the hell they were.
I would just say, for anyone who doesn't want to read, they make encyclopedias for Marvel and DC.
But what about for us that can't read?
I don't know. They make audio. There you go. They make audio books.
Okay, there we go.
Go rent the audio.
Jawan, lay it on us. What'd you think of this finale?
It was the worst thing I've ever It was interesting. There were a few points we discussed it yesterday that were just mind-boggling. You still explained nothing about the Watch, only that she's Mockingbird, and it's like, well, we thought that weeks ago. So the fact that we couldn't hear or see what was actually in the Watch that was so important. We also didn't get any mention from Kingpin why his need to have the Watch was important.
Yeah.
Everything was just so open-ended for that. And it's just like, that wasn't a strong enough thing. And I remember saying, don't end the show where this Watch is a topic of conversation in something else. In the Watch here. End it here, bury it, burn it, throw it away, put it on your wrist. I don't ever want to hear about the Watch again. I don't even want to see it. Actually, I'm sorry. I don't want anyone wearing watches in the MCU anymore.
It's a Rolex. That's a damn good watch.
I was so put off from the whole concept of a watch because of this show. I threw all my watches away. But to me, that was that was just lazy writing. Like, what was it? the whole break in to get the watch, and then you don't even show us what was in it. You just show us she's Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, if you're not affiliated with the Agents of Shield or the database of whatever, but all right, even if there is a way to figure out what 19 means, right?
Okay.
It just doesn't make any sense. There's really no, I don't know.
Well,
So I'm agreeing with you.
I'll say this: it made no sense because if you don't know the comics, that meant nothing to you.
Yeah.
If you do know the comics, you suspected she was Mockingbird. 4
Yeah.
episodes ago.
Yeah.
So it's like, who was that a payoff for?
Yeah.
If you never read a comic, you're sitting there like, oh, she joined in 2019 or something like that. Like, oh, okay, I get it. And it's like, no, you don't. That's not what that is.
I don't mind the payoff. I don't mind the payoff that we got confirmation. Again, it's never mentioned by name, but again, it's something that you have to know from the comics. Number 19, whatever. Oh, she is Mockingbird. But I agree with you. The plot device of the watch itself makes no sense.
It just was stupid. I love how they not ever. Are you going to read that?
Not ever reading Marvel has made it so much easier for me. The not knowing a general footprint has worked for me, and I'm in agreement with listening to Jim here, because there are certain things that when you read really quick, let's just do Harry Potter for a second. If you read the Harry Potter books, right, and there's I know a lot of people that have, and then when they watch the film adaptation, there were things in the film that they didn't enjoy because of the book.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand there, and that's why a lot of the times I won't read things, because I want the movie or the show. Not only do I want to be fresh going in, I don't want to know anything about it, but at the same time, I feel like I'm going to enjoy it more, because if I'm getting my source from somewhere else and it ends up being different on screen, it's easy to be like, oh, I didn't like that. No. Oh no. Oh, he's this, but he's that in the comics. I kind of like going in fresh. So I agree with listener Jim.
Yeah, but that premise is fine if you don't read comics at all.
Yeah, which I don't.
If you don't read comics at all, that's 100% fine.
Yeah.
But if you do read comics, even before or after you watch it, you'll still get to that point. Because I can guarantee you, MCU doesn't do much better. Doesn't do many things better, I'm sorry, than the actual comic line does. So to me, it's I like reading the comics and then getting into it and then saying, okay, let's see how many things you did do accurate. Mm-hmm. This show was as accurate as you could get from Mac Fraction's comic. Yes. Was as accurate from right down to the dog,
the T-shirt,
I'm lucky,
the T-shirt she wears,
down to the their costumes. It was beautiful, but then there were things to where you're just like, well, you bringing in Jack Duquesne and he has no connection to Clint was the weirdest decision to make, because you could have just created a new character.
Yep.
And need Jack that. The LARPers are in the comics. You making them the way you did, I was fine. They were a joke in the comics. They're a joke here. No problem.
Right.
So they did things right. They did things wrong, but ultimately it was great. So that's why I said having the knowledge is better than not having it, because you can appreciate the things that are accurate and then kind of just suck up and accept the things that aren't.
I agree.
I'm not getting Mephisto.
I agree with Easter eggs and stuff like that. It is good to know, like, oh wait, like if you read the comics, which I didn't, but if you read the comics, you know about Lucky the dog. You know about, like I said, the T-shirt that Kate was wearing in that one. It was literally pulled from the comics, so it is good in that regard. But as far as plot and storyline, sometimes I do like to go in whatever. But also at the same time, I don't really read comics, so that's where I'm coming from. Yeah,
that's fair.
And we also got a really good comic. Lillian Parsons says, "Woof, yeah." So I'm gonna give it a star. I'm also gonna
again.
Block user. There we go. I noticed a lot of those comments in your chat yesterday, Joanna. I just kept reporting them. I just report them. I report them for
every time I see it. I'm just like, but you do know you're only helping me, right? Like you're a viewer. Like,
yeah. Wait, do you not want me to report them? I'm sorry.
No. Report them.
I report them.
All I'm saying is, from their standpoint, like, what do you think you're getting out of this by doing this? Like,
what's up, Trayvon? This is Trayvon, right? Want to make sure.
Yeah, that's Trayvon.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm surprised they didn't announce a season 2 of the show at the end. Maybe they will announce one after Echo. Do you think we're getting a season 2?
100%. If
I hope so too.
an Agatha Harkness show. We better get a season.
Yeah.
We had to sit through season 2 of Loki. We better get a season.
We're supposedly getting an Electro movie. We better get Hawkeye season 2. And we'll get into that in about 20 minutes.
They might have waited on an announcement because they might decide to make it a movie.
What's up, Trayvon? How you doing? Thanks for stopping in.
Or a Kate movie, so maybe that's why. But Marvel also doesn't like to show their hands, too quickly. So we'll get something next year.
I hope. I do. And I want more Yelena. I want more Kate.
I think we all want more Yelena and Kate.
100%.
So you know what, Joanna? I'll ask you this,
Hmm?
and maybe I can even, but I can't even ask Kitty because Kitty enjoyed it. So I'll just stick with you. Kitty,
all right then. I'll just
hold on.
off.
I was just about to say though, if you do have something to add though, just listen to the question I'm about to ask Joanna, and then let me know. What would you have done differently? What's one thing? We'll just do one thing because I know there's probably several. But what one thing you would have done that you wanted to see that you didn't, or one thing that they didn't execute and you wanted? For you to be like, wow, this was a really good finale.
Well, shit, if you ask me that, Daredevil, of course.
Well, yeah, I know.
But more realistically, I guess, Eleanor.
See,
Make her mean more.
I agree that they could have executed a little better. I wanted to see her either be her counterpart in the comic or Madame Mask.
Yeah.
Or just give me, because obviously Kate, she did take classes for a lot of stuff she learned, but obviously Eleanor helped her with a lot of other stuff. But just have a fight between Echo and Eleanor, or Eleanor helping Kate try to take out Kingpin. But for you to ultimately make her a damsel in distress, was kind of just like, oh my goodness. That's why I told you yesterday when she was getting arrested, I'm like, damn, Kazi, you picked the wrong time. This would have been a perfect time to just snipe her right from like the light tower up there or something. Like the character is just so useless. Like get rid of her. Why do I need to see her live on? Get rid of the character altogether.
Hold on. We like Vera. Leave Vera alone.
I know we like her as an actress. Yeah.
Vera, I have no problem with. The character you made utterly useless. I don't need Jack or Eleanor ever again.
Do you agree with Brandon? You think if they do a Black Widow 2, it's a Disney Plus?
No.
Not a series, no. Just straight to. You think it's going to theater?
No, heck yeah.
All right.
Heck yeah. They didn't want to do a Disney Plus release for the last Black Widow movie.
I know. And look at all the. Look at all the.
Came from that. Yeah.
Look what happened with that. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I guess you know what? Maybe. I'm thinking about it now out loud. Maybe I wouldn't have minded it more. Maybe I would have enjoyed it more had we see Clint versus Kingpin. Maybe like an altercation. I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have minded that.
I enjoyed that altercation between Kate and.
No,
Kate needed that.
I'm not taking. No, I'm not taking that scene away. But ultimately, I wouldn't have minded a confrontation because. What do you call it? Hawkeye or Clint has been talking about this character for a few episodes now. Obviously not by name.
But the reason why it's all went down, like they're like Kingpin, like reason why her life's like that is because of Kingpin.
Yeah,
she needed to take him down.
Yeah, no, but I'm not saying I don't enjoy the fact that she took him down, but I would have liked a scene between the two of them together. Not necessarily, maybe not even an altercation. Something with Clint and Kingpin because he talked him up for as many episodes as he has.
Only reason why I didn't need that, I mean, I would have been fine if they did it, but I didn't need it because, like I told you, this is Kate's show.
Yeah.
So it was all to build up Kate. It's why you get, and which, by the way, I love when people do it that way, where she kept giving names, and he's like, I think I got a name for you. And then it just flashes the title screen. I love that because some things you just don't need to say. They're just cooler showing you. And you're supposed to just.
Well, he did say it. We just didn't hear it. And
Right.
Well, also, to be fair, he also called his daughter Hawkeye. So.
Well, no, he first of all, his daughter has to hate him. All she ever wants is to spend time with him. And then out of nowhere, he brings a whole nother daughter home. Obviously not his real daughter.
No.
He brings a whole nother person home, and it's like, I'm sorry, you already don't give me time.
Yeah. This is my best friend. This is my partner. I'm teaching her everything I know. Thanks, Dad.
She's gonna live on. She's gonna live on the Hawkeye legacy.
Yeah.
And you'll just be, just one of my kids. That's it.
Yeah. But All right. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap up?
Yeah, I did want to add here. Vincent D'Onofrio said in an interview, "quote I knew that he would. I knew that Kingpin would be physically stronger, and I knew that he would be able to take on more physical abuse. That was something we discussed heavily when being brought into this. So clearly, Kevin was saying, "Hey, I don't know what kind of soft shit you were doing over there in Netflix, but over here."
You can get hit by a
shoot you
car.
with Yeah, you can get hit by cars. You can get shot by arrows. You can blow up. You could even get shot in the eye.
I mean, if you're fighting
Yeah.
characters, and I'm not saying that I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with the character himself. But if you're in a world where you do have Spider-Man and fantastical characters like Thor and stuff like that, you're going to have to be a little stronger. You know, I'm not taking anything away from Daredevil. Daredevil, it has strength as well, but this is a different world. So
Well, also, it wouldn't work in Daredevil, which
Yeah.
is why I was never upset that they didn't do it. It just doesn't. It doesn't fit. You
Tonally,
make him
it
that
doesn't.
strong.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, he's only fighting Punisher and Daredevil. He
Yeah.
never fought Jessica Jones or Luke Cage. So I'm like, why would you make him that crazy strong?
Yeah.
Now, someone might add, well, why would you make him that crazy strong against Kate Bishop and Clint? Touche. But we do know it's about the longevity. At some point, he will go up against Spider-Man and
Mhm.
other people like that. So to have him that strong is very comic accurate. And I'm glad. And they even made him a little bit bigger. Gave him
Yeah.
the cane. So I'm
Yeah.
like, by the way, Kingpin never needs to wear a hat. Don't ever do that again, Marvel. Don't.
Or
don't ever.
her.
Or
Somebody
Hawaii.
had said, yeah, I was about to say, somebody said it was comic accurate, but I don't think I need the Hawaiian shirt again.
Even if it is, don't ever
Yeah.
do that again.
Please
Give
no.
him the purple dress shirt with
Yeah.
the white suit jacket. Simple. You can
Done.
even pop a button if you want. Show a
Pop
little
it.
hair, whatever. But don't wear the Hawaiian shirt and hat ever again. That
I
was just
agree.
like, what am I looking at?
I agree.
What is this? But yeah, I did enjoy seeing him rip a car door.
Yeah. He
All
does not
that
like car
he-
does. He
He
doesn't.
does not. He does not
fucking
respect
hates
car
them.
doors, man. Cars have to be terrified whenever he buys them. It's just like, oh my god, I know it's gonna happen. Someone's head, or he's gonna rip my arm completely off. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? No respect for cars. And that was a nice car too.
It was. All right, guys. I do want to thank listener Jim, Trayvon, Brandon. I want to thank you guys in the comments. This was a really good show because of you guys asking these questions, making your comments. And, you know, I obviously want more of that. So if you can, please do so in the future as well. And, you know, and if you're watching this not live, you're watching this recorded, please drop a comment. Let us know what you thought of the episode or even all 6 episodes. What did you think of the series overall? I want to thank Kitty and, of course, Kingpin's missing eye, Jawan. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming on and talking Hawkeye for the last 5 weeks. I know we did a double episode, so
They did.
yeah. So like 4 weeks. But we are going to be signing off here, and then in about 10 minutes, we're going to be doing our Spider-Man No Way Home spoiler review. So if you guys want, come in about 1 o'clock, and we'll be doing that live. But really quick before I sign off, Brandon has one quick question. Does the dog ever learn how to retrieve the arrows? That would be fucking amazing. Dude, but no, think about that. That would be awesome to teach him to do whatever. And we obviously didn't get a boomerang arrow. And I think I said that too. I was like, I think it's going to be more plausible that she does the trick more than the boomerang arrow. And we never got the boomerang arrow.
Well,
But
to answer that question, no, because that means she would have to take him into fights, and I think that would be just ridiculous.
he could be in like a car, like the back seat, just chilling, and then like after
And
the
he
fight's
gets
over,
out to just pick up arrows.
He's just
for
got
it.
like a mouthful of arrows.
but bloody arrows too, because he's pulling them out of bodies.
Yeah, I think I'd never need to see that ever.
Yeah,
An
but
owl picking up a
it's a
car
good idea though.
People knowing that owl was going to eat those people was enough for me. I
That
don't
was
need
great.
to see dogs taking arrows out of bodies.
That was great. That owl was gonna
It's
like peck
he's
at them.
like Kate's crypto, like the super dog.
All right, guys, we're gonna sign off here. Everybody, happy holidays. If you're not in the the next stream, because this is gonna be my last stream before Christmas and the holidays. So I do want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas or whatever holiday you guys celebrate. We're gonna sign off here, but really quick too as well. Jawan's link to his YouTube channel is in the description. I know most of you guys already followed Jawan over at Geek Vibes Nation, but if you are watching this recorded, go down to the description box below and check out his link and give him some love. Thank you guys very much, and I will see you in about 2 minutes. I'll see everybody else in 10. Bye, guys.
Bye,
Oh,
guys.
us in 2 minutes. Okay, I was lost.
Thanks for listening, Jim. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.